so I can get it recording. Make sure we're working. Everybody sees me in that camera. I should be orange, red, and yellow. Everything around me is blue and black. So when you take me out of the picture, it's going to fluctuate. Kind of see how the trees now have some orange, red, and yellow into them? So again, it's going to fluctuate based on whatever's inside the screen. So what are we looking for in here? Cold is blue and black. Obviously, spirits generate into colder areas. So anything starts moving in blue or black, we need to kind of take note of that. It may put a white line around it because it might find it intelligent or something of an object or something solid that we just can't see with our naked eyes. So with this being said, she's going to take a seat.
We've walked like 10 miles today.
And we've only got 3/4 of another one to go. Yeah. We'll be good. So, have you ever used one of these before?
I have not.
Would you like to try this one out?
Sure.
So you're going to hold this horizontal all night. Again, you may not catch anything in this nice small screen. So I blow this up to YouTube so I can watch it on my TV, and then I transfer it back to my website for you guys to actually see it on your end. So all your data's in one spot.
I may not catch it in the small screen. What do you mean?
I
may not see it.
Correct.
Gotcha.
But I do want you to notify things. Like, hey, this is moving. I want to see what this is.
Yep.
We may also catch thermodynamics in reverse. So what does that mean? So let's say Cindy's actually just looking at the ground right here, and all of a sudden there's a spot on the ground that heats up within like 5 to 10 degrees in a very short period of time. That means there's a cold spot generating somewhere else. I want you to stay focused on that heat spot because that's still enough proof that there's a cold spot generating quickly.
But don't hunt for the cold spot?
What's that?
Don't look for the cold spot?
You're not going to find it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a balance. You can't have one without the other.
Exactly.
You got a hot spot, you got a cold
I have an EMF meter. Took a ghost hunting
Thermodynamics
class.
law states
I want to take a ghost hunting class. How do you find these?
Oh, he's dead.
Really?
Yeah. You just go online.
You're
Okay.
having a hot
The,
spot
I
somewhere,
was
you have a
friends with
cold
the guy.
spot
in
somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Still, a
I'd
hot
love to
spot
do that.
growing is enough for me
It's
to
like a
say, I
classic
know there's a
on-
cold spot nearby, and if
Really?
another device is going off,
I want to
I
do
know I
that
need to
too.
look
That sounds
further
fun.
into the data to find out what's actually
And
happening.
that would lead
It was
to more
work, but-
Is it like tapping into
phenomenon.
what you already know,
Absolutely.
basically?
Two devices going
Okay,
off at
that's
the same
really
time,
cool.
and especially if I
I
have
would definitely
thermodynamics
do
in
that.
reverse, sure. It's a perfect opportunity to try to find out what's going on. So I also want you to keep in mind, I'm not going to get excited when only one of your devices is going off. I normally will dive into, let's say, the EMF meter, because that's something, well, let's take what we already have. So let's say Cindy catches something, and we have a blue movement in spot, and nothing else is actually happening in real time. That's when I dive into the timestamps of everything that is going on with the rest of the recordings to see if there's any other EVPs, did something match up. I don't get excited over one thing. I have to match it with something else in order for my validity to come through. So again, it's one of those things. Spirit boxes.
Oh my gosh.
I've had,
So spirit boxes allow us to communicate with the non-living. It's basically a radio sweeper. It's going to sweep through all the FM radio stations very quickly. For you ghost hunting show fans, that's the very quick static. Okay? And your ghost hunting shows, they actually have it set so fast that only disembodied voices will come through. And that's not always the case. They do that for the TV show.
Yeah.
This is slowed down, first off, because you guys are amateurs. Second off, so that we can actually listen to those DJs, radio voices, and all of that other chatter to come through. In the event we actually hear something, then it's a possibility that it connects to the location, the story, one of you, so forth and so on. For example, last night I asked the spirit that we were talking to say goodnight to us. We were going to move on to the next location, and we immediately got to take care.
Wow.
Oh,
That goes an immediate thing. So, and we all heard it because we were all standing around in a circle somewhat like this. So, chatterbox, that would be you.
Yep.
The reason why I love this particular device so much is because it will record the entire radio sweep for us and none of you. It will not record outside noises. Even when it's on mute, it will record at a nice even level. It's beautiful. I love this thing.
That's excellent.
You guys are going to get this recording back.
Good.
So even in the event Chatterbox over here doesn't hear anything, it's okay.
Still, yes, had that done in my house.
I'm
too.
sure she will, but in the event it is hard for you to hear, it's okay. It's going to record the whole thing, and I'm going to catch it tomorrow.
I teach middle school. I can hear everything.
Okay, so there's only one button you need to worry about. There's a little turn wheel up here at the top. It turns it up and down. You're going to control the volume. There's going to be some places where I say keep it somewhat to yourself, and you're going to help her with that.
Okay.
So again, this is almost like a two-person job because you guys are going to verify each other.
Okay.
Not yet. He said
Yeah.
he'll tell you when.
Yeah, it's
I
irritating.
have to
too.
practice so I know what I'm doing.
Oh my God, it's a wheel.
Yeah, it's a irritating. Yeah.
Yes. Can be very irritating.
Yeah.
EMFs. So this is the very famous K2 meter that you guys all see on your shows. It is very sensitive. It does measure 3 types of electromagnetic fields. They never teach you how this thing actually works on the shows. So how does this thing work? There's 3 fields. The first one is from the earth. That's why it's green. It's natural. The second one is going to come from electronic devices, man-made objects. So wiring, cell phones, electrical boxes, ley lines underneath the streets for parking meters. It's going to be strong enough to make it go off. That's going to give it a rhythm and a pulse. We don't with a rhythm or a pulse. We're not close enough to a meter for me to demonstrate, but it will literally, if you can tap your finger to it, snap your fingers, you don't want that. We want the erraticism. We want it to go a little nuts. So this is our first indication that something is actually happening around us. It doesn't record anything. However, my skeptic usually gets this because this is our most active gadget that we're going to have.
Don't do like your cousin and run screaming, okay? Thank you.
He put you on blast, man. He called you the skeptic.
No,
I always
describe
have one.
myself as that.
I always have one. And I would tell you, I'm on like a 75% conversion level.
That's pretty good.
So you can bump it up to 80 tonight, huh?
Probably.
You have to
Maybe
have
76. I'm a pretty busy guy. Those numbers don't jump that quick. So I'm assembling the neuralizer for Men in Black, so I need you all to stare right here. It's a grid pen.
Yep.
We want as many dots as possible. So obviously we can't see the laser that's making the dots until something passes through it. It's going to be very quick. Literally everybody stare at my forehead for just a brief second. Do you see that out of the peripheral vision of your eye? So it's going to help us find those things that, and for the first time, I'll be honest, I've been using this for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. For the first time, about 3 weeks ago, I finally saw something in for myself. I've had guests see things, but again, it doesn't record anything, and if I don't catch it, again, it was literally like and this is a laser, so there are rules with lasers, by the way.
Don't point it at your eyes.
Well, no, it goes very, very far. We don't want to blind cars, buildings, houses, so forth and so on. So, everybody kind of watch that building over there?
Yeah.
See how nice and bright it is?
Yeah.
It is very bright. So, we're going to get number 1.
What's your podcast called? Stories in
Cemetery.
the... My husband.
My question is, what blocks the grid? I mean, if it's a spirit or it's not a solid object, what?
So, it's meant for seeing apparitions. So,
Yeah.
in the event there's something standing there, like, actually, this is a perfect example. Go ahead and shine it back on his legs. In the event something is going to be, it's going to shine. Let me do a better example. Sorry, I know COVID and all that, but there's a better example than this. So, let's say spirit apparition is actually somewhere and you're trying to capture something. So, everybody kind of look up here, not down at the ground. It's going to be that brief. It's going to go literally right through it, and you're not going to be able to see anything. Like, so if you don't catch it out of the quick peripheral out of your eye, it is literally something we can't see. What
So
I saw...
This thing, you see that little quick movement out of your eye, you expect it to be what it is, and not just, oh, maybe it was my eyes playing tricks on me. Because you have this device to capture that movement.
Exactly. So a couple of times I've actually had, and we keep this pretty low, like we literally pointed straight down and maybe 5 feet out, where only one portion of it was swirling
Really?
on the ground.
Stop.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
And it wasn't just me that saw it.
I don't
Like
know.
somebody was using it, and I was like, is that?
Would
She's
she
like,
get
it's
it
moving.
on that thing? Is that when you
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
It's a good possibility.
I know it's mentioned, but that was in my paranormal activity. The Xbox, the motion trackers,
Mm-hmm.
See anything?
Xbox, and that was picking up stuff.
Yep.
Again, I know it's fiction, but
Yeah.
that's the idea.
Well,
that you're
again,
talking about.
there's like 50-50 of what they actually do. So
Mhm.
it's just a matter of, most of it is based on, they want to boost the show.
Right.
Yeah.
The next one I use is boxes. So why do I want boxes? This one, in the event we capture something here, I can then take that picture or something from the camera, put it in 3D software, and then you have a full 3D view of what we actually captured. It's beautiful. I haven't caught anything with it yet. It's fairly new. You actually get both. Yes, don't cross the streams.
My husband just looked you up on.
Oh, you can just
Podcast.
type my name in Google
Yeah.
and find me.
that temperature flux.
You're left.
Oh, I didn't notice it's in the
No,
middle tells you
two.
the temperature.
Yeah, that's just what I was looking at.
Alright.
See, that's a steady 71, but went over
So-
that way. But that's
Simple
because I'm
point
heading
and
toward
shoot
the
camera.
light.
Oh, cool.
Have you
Okay.
used one of these before?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, there are rules.
Okay.
Nobody along the wall can be in the picture.
Okay.
Nobody signed a waiver, nor do I want legalities.
Okay.
There is no flash on this camera, so
Okay.
don't play with the settings. We don't want false positives. If you take a picture of this building, I then have to analyze the flash that came back off the window. So when you're taking pictures with this guy, always take two of the same picture and try to
Okay.
be as still as possible.
Okay,
There'll
cool.
be certain areas where I'm
So
like,
I'm
hey,
taking it.
this is a great picture spot. Let's just get a
I think
touristy
it's,
shot.
Okay.
By all means,
sky.
take it. And there are certain places too where I'm like,
I don't
no
understand why the
pictures here.
trees are.
So again, I know
Okay.
it sucks.
That's what it's,
But with each location we're going to,
temperature
it's
outside.
literally going to be a
So the
direction
wood
for
is
each
the
person.
temperature.
Okay. Awesome. I'm excited. Yes,
It's
ma'am.
gonna be the same.
So that's why it's relative.
Is this time out or will it like stay on?
It'll time it.
It'll time out.
There's only two buttons at the top you need: power and to take the shot.
Okay.
So
Or close to
I'm
it.
going to hand
Yeah.
this off to you
Gotcha.
guys. We have another spirit box that's working. This is the same one they use on the shows. Very small speaker. It doesn't record anything. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get it started for you. And there's only one button for you guys as well. It's right here in the back of the speaker. You can move this however you want to. Okay.
I hate
When
that
we're
one,
too
too.
loud, because you can't control
hate
volume,
those things.
you'll literally cup it in your hand like this.
Please.
So that way you guys can both listen to that, and you guys have your lasers too.
And this is,
toward them, too.
mhm.
Then yeah, so you're gonna be listening to the DJs, song lyrics,
Same
commercials,
thing like
same thing like the other one that's
Okay, so-
recording.
My
But
family?
when
What's
I
my
say
name?
spirit box is up, you and them will kind of go your own ways separately.
Okay.
So
Try
again,
to capture
it's
both
another
spectrums
don't
of-
cross the streams kind of thing.
Sure. Okay.
So let's also keep in mind in my bag, because again, this is set up for 10 people, I like to try to debunk what we actually capture on that camera. So I do have two different types of thermometers, and it normally goes to the partner of the camera, but I wanted the skeptic to have the EMF. So let's say Cindy's standing where I am, and she says, Nick, there's a blue spot on that wall, and the rest of it's orange and yellow. I then take an infrared, kind of like the quick scanner, and I scan the whole wall, because it's only going to measure surface temperature. If the wall is the exact same temperature all the way across, I have an ambient temperature thermometer that I can then find the blue spot by moving between Cindy and the wall. Does that make sense to everybody? I want a legitimate, solid cold spot and not something coming out of the building. Again, I'm not here to make stuff up for you guys. I'm not going to get super excited about one device going off. I will look for that validity in other things, and sometimes I don't see it till the collective of the data in the morning. So, last but not least, I do use a couple of gadgets on my phone. So skeptics love to try to prove me wrong with these things, but we'll see how this goes. I do carry a backup EMF, just in case the battery's drained from yours. So it's not as sensitive, but it does work in a pinch if we need to. Not to mention I have spare batteries. I use two spirit boxes on my phone. This one will actually give us words right here in the center of the screen.
Like if it picks up something.
Yep, if it picks anything up, it'll give us the word right in the center and then save those words to a list. Last night's tour had 81. I'm going to clear them out.
81 words.
81 words.
Wow.
There's a lot. I normally get about 50 to 60 in a 90-minute to 2-hour tour. So 80 was a lot. We actually had quite a bit going on last night. But I want everybody to keep in mind, this app, 80% of it's bullshit. I want everybody to
I
keep
was
it.
going to say, are they any good that are on the apps?
All of the devices y'all have are electronic.
Yes.
We're not doing dowsing rods. We're not doing Ouija boards. We're not doing tarot cards.
Do you ever have like devices die if there's like activity around? You know what I mean? Like they suck
A
the
lot,
energy
yeah.
out.
I actually even started using a battery tester, but it doesn't hold up for the full 90 minutes of the tour. So it's not a very, like, we stopped using it just because it was pretty much invalid. But my theory for all of you guys, and I know I'm boring, right? I talk too much. My theory is that the spirit world can manipulate any type of electronic that they want to. We're going to have multiple pieces of communication. So I do use one other spirit box, and I'll show you how that one works. It's a little different than what you've probably ever seen before. So this is what we call a reverse spirit box. How does it work? It's basically a man and a woman. It's a recording saying things backwards. So they're saying it forwards and the audio is flipped backwards. It's going to sound like complete gibberish to all of you. However, if something comes through forward and it's a legitimate answer to my question, somebody obviously has manipulated it. So I'm going to play this for you, and then I'm going to play you an EVP I caught a few weeks ago. It's probably the strongest EVP I ever caught, and it came from this app. So let me turn this up so you guys can get a feel. The traffic's going to stop. Again, complete gibberish. And this is what you're going to hear on your audio, because it stays with me. So again, I haven't asked anything yet.
So does the device just play it backwards?
The app plays it backwards. That's what it's designed to do. So I actually debunked this whole app because the app claims that it's FM radio stations. I'm like, I don't hear any song lyrics. I don't hear shit in here. Sorry for the language.
No, we don't
so
mind.
I have enough software to take all of the EVPs and analyze things. And what I did is I flipped it right sideways, the way it was supposed to be. And it was literally a man and a woman saying random words. That's all it was. And I did that for about 30 minutes. I just let it record. And then I flipped it backwards and listened to the entire thing. It was literally random words.
Fake app. Somebody just recorded some words and played it backwards. And
again, game and a hoax. But when I get something as strong as what I'm about to play for you, you'll second guess it. I was talking about a woman from England, and this is the EVP that I caught, and it didn't make any sense to me until one of my guests told me what it meant. And it made complete sense, and then the digital spirit box with the word list started playing, like giving me words that were in this EVP. So I'm going to play it several times for you guys because it's very short.
Breakfast. Eggs, beans. Eggs, beans, breakfast.
eggs, beans, breakfast.
You guys hear it?
Yeah, beans, breakfast.
Okay, so here's what happened. So as I go through the data the next morning. Your spirit box tells me I'll fix you, baked beans breakfast, and then the digital spirit box word list gave me the word tea. I'll fix you, baked beans breakfast, and tea.
Which they eat baked beans for breakfast. Yeah.
No,
I did.
Yeah, England does.
Yeah?
they do.
I had
Yeah.
no
Yeah, they
idea.
That's weird.
Yeah.
So again, I had to use collective data. All of that was within, I'd say, 2 to 3 minutes of each other. I had a full sentence, and she just chose which device to give me which piece.
Huh.
Does that make sense to everybody now, how I look
Yeah.
at this as a collective? Okay. So it's a perfect example because, I mean, I've never had anything so strong and clear come through. Like, I ran to the group. I'm like, you guys have to, I don't want to, lose the recording, but you guys have to hear this. All right, so let me get everything back up and running again.
Yeah, they do. And they put it on toast, too.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, so we start here for a reason. This place used to be called Big John's, the place you're leading on. Big John was a football player from the 1947 New York Giants. I told you guys I'm not a sports person. Yes, I had to memorize all of this data. But Big John used to sit in the back of the bar, and the cadets would come over from the Citadel, and they would have a few drinks. Well, Big John would tell the bartender if they weren't of age. Well, 2 guys come in one night, they're not of age. Big John tells the bartender to cut them off. They get pissed, they leave. They come back the next night, and they steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Big John pulls out his .45, shoots, kills, and the bullet ricochets and lands in the wall. The hole is still there. The bullet's not, but the hole is. I've had EMF in this building, in that front window, from time to time. From time to time is good. You don't want always the same thing all the time, because then you can start to debunk that it's wiring and this, that, and the other. I will also say that Paul, the previous owner of this bar, it was called Cane Run Bar, anybody that sits in the front of this bar sometimes will get dizzy, little headaches, queasiness. I bring this up on purpose. If any of you... Go ahead and shut it off. Yeah, you're right on it. Just hit it. There you go. So if any of you are not feeling well, I need to know the slightest bit of headache. Like, it's a huge deal to me. I've had people pass out. I've had witches look at me and say, no, we're not going any further. So, again, this is a big deal to me. The first time somebody dropped like a wet noodle, I was in CPR class the next day. I never want to use it again. Luckily, I've always had a nurse on board when the next wet noodles decided to drop. So, again, if it's too much, you guys got to tell me. Okay? We'll get you somewhere safe. We'll get you off the tour. Whatever we got to do. Safety's first. That's a huge deal to me. I know how this is going to affect me. Taking stuff home, it's never pleasant. My wife's working on stuff. trying to get me, the bag blessed and all that stuff because I'm not a religious person. So she's calling good psychic friends of mine and saying, what can we do to keep Nick safe? So, the other story here, have you guys taken history tours of Charleston?
Yeah.
Okay,
We
so...
just did the jail tour.
Okay, well that's a haunted tour, not a history tour. So we actually had a big earthquake in 1886. This is where the first death occurred. So a piece of the mantling from the front of the bar actually fell off, struck somebody in the head and killed them, and his ghost is said to be seen right here on East Bay. I don't have the proof, hearing stories from Paul, the previous owner. So, you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
Oh yeah.
Let's
Tired
do
of
it.
hearing me talk? Our first place we go to, guys, is kind of your practice area. It is haunted. There's not a big, long history there. So it's kind of me bouncing around with you guys, letting you get used to your gadgets and what to do and what not to do. Again, we're just going to kind of reiterate some of the rules I already set up and kind of see where we're at with things and show you guys how to ask questions on your spirit boxes. So let me grab my bag and we will get this party rolling. I got the word headache. I swear I don't make this stuff up. I promise you. I don't make this stuff up.
Honestly.
I don't even want to know what was before.
Nope.
Full
So
moon,
it begins.
Not
right?
funny. Right
The ghost
here.
has a headache.
No, Big John.
Well, Big John's anniversary of his death was a few days ago as well. That was on Monday. All right, let's go this way, guys.
Well, I know this works because it just flashed when I went past that box over there.
Did it? Which box?
There was an electrical box right there.
Oh, yes. Okay, so it does work. Good.
Start already. All right, so a couple things here before I send you guys off. The Crew Cafe is haunted. They claim to have a suicide ghost that actually haunts the place. I do get a little bit of an EMF when I take the detector upstairs. I could probably debunk it pretty quickly with a long drawn out investigation. Thank you, COVID, for interrupting that. But that used to be a slave home. It didn't have an address. So it's very hard to find anything. If that's a reconstruct, a rebuild, an add-on, I have no idea what's going on with that building. So that's something I'm going to be doing in the future. So on the podcast, you'll find that episode, whether it's haunted or not. So also for you history buffs, right past the Crew Cafe is a stop sign at the crossroads. And
Is that cat place you want to go
I don't think so.
to?
what's that?
Oh, the cat place?
I don't think
No, is that something different?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
No idea what that is. So everybody kind of picture the peninsula of Charleston in your head. Back in the 1700s, it was a lot skinnier because everything we have on it now is basically man-made around the edges. So a Revolutionary warship rolls in, shoots a cannon, and lands right at that stop sign. No deaths, no tragedies, but it's one of those, hey, I found a piece of history that actually falls on my tour, I'm going to tell about it. So really cool spot, and that was a neighborhood at that point. So kind of interesting that there was no deaths or tragedies. So where are we standing now? This is the Red Barn lot. Okay, this is where they keep the horses for the carriage rides. The horses are in that barn. So your spirit box needs to stay away from those windows up there, and your lasers need to stay away from those windows up there because you will spook them. They will kick that metal wall and scare the shit out of all of us. So it's not the type of scares we're looking for.
We actually stopped and pet the horses on the way here. So,
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, they don't like my lasers, I'll tell you that. So this is also the same Red Barn where they had horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So that kind of dates it for you. We're talking 1860s to 1920s. That's as farther back that I can find on this location. I get Big John's teammates that come through. I get Big John that comes through. I get random stable boys that want to talk to me about the horses. I get all kinds of things that come out of here. So let's talk about these spirit boxes that you guys have. This is not a TV show where you're going to start asking question after question after question. We stay away from yes and no questions. Remember, I'm a writer and an English guy. The S and the O of the terms yes and no are too common in our English language. And you could hear the word houses and it sounds like yes. Does that make sense to everybody? So we're going to stay away from those questions altogether. Is somebody here? Yeah, we're not doing that. Because if somebody answers no, we obviously have a jokester ghost, right? So you're going to ask questions in this particular location where you actually know the answers. What color is the barn? You know you're listening for the color red. guesses are going to be a little bit more difficult. I'm going to give you questions to ask that you don't know the answers to see how your listening skills are. So with here, you're also not going to keep asking that same question over and over and over again. That's really fast. You're going to ask it, and then you're going to wait 30 seconds or so, and ask it again, possibly rephrase it. What color is the barn if somebody's here? No answer. 30 seconds later, you say, can you tell me what color the barn is? Does that make sense? If you don't get an answer after 3 or 4 tries, this person is around you, especially if we have an EMF. Do you have anything going on there?
I saw a few tiny flashes, but right now it's just solid green.
Okay.
So should we hear this with our own naked ear, or
it'll come out of the spirit box. Right. I mean, there's a million ways that they can communicate with us. So if you ask a question, it might actually go to their spirit box or mine.
Right. Sure.
And we have the word moon. Wow. We have a full moon tonight. I will take it. What came before it? Nothing. Headache. So, guys, this is good stuff. So this is the stuff I get excited about. So again, those are the types.
Scares me.
Yeah.
This is the type of stuff, like the questions that you're going to ask. You can even go off the cuff of whatever's in the barn and ask another question and say, tell me what's inside the barn.
Sure.
You know, then you know you're listening for horse, or they might even tell you what type of horses are in there. So you just never know what the answer is going to actually be, but you're listening for horse. So does that make sense to those of you with spirit boxes?
Yeah.
All right. So with the thermal imaging camera, you're going to get nice slow images. By the way, if that red square, I don't know if I told you, turns to a circle, you need to hit it again, and I'll have to splice your videos together. So that way you have one long video. Try to keep it horizontal just like that all night. By all means, feel free to switch since you're already familiar with the EMF. Laser grids, you're literally, wherever he actually kind of has a hot spot on the EMF, he should announce it. And if you see me rushing over, you should be kind of close by with the grid. Again, point straight down, out in front of you about 5 feet. There is one vehicle here. Some cars are a little sensitive to lasers. Only the alarm system go off. I've done it twice, so it's never a good time.
So
pictures, you're okay to take pictures in here. Just keep the cars and all of the rest of your team out of it. I'm fine taking
Showing no
pictures.
house.
I don't care.
I was thinking it might be the outline of the leaves from that tree over
None of
there.
you all can be. All right, so does everybody kind of have a gist of how everybody's gadgets work? I'm going to bounce around with all of you one by one and kind of see where things are at. Keep the spirit boxes separated. Looks like you have a question.
Yeah,
Good?
I've already
All
seen
right,
it.
so I'm going to have you
It's
guys
the
kind of
most
stay
it's
to
done
this
so far
left-hand
is up
side
into
of the
the
spirit
yellow
box
light.
and kind of see what happens up there.
Just
Fraction of a second.
You just check where you are and see if
Cindy
you're
and Chris,
under.
if you guys want to start just making kind of a quick lap, get a gist of, like, you guys have a million different materials in here to learn about with that. So again, nice slow movements, get a gist of how all the different temperatures work. And then of course with your spirit box, you control the volume.
Because I used to have it go off really bad under lights.
This is pretty much.
But just sort of.
Oh, it's doing like, it will until you jack it up. What the hell just happened?
Yeah.
So they're the same station.
I remember the flat wall.
Okay, but it was blue. Okay, that's blue. Everything's blue.
So here, that's back.
Back to what? Okay, what are we under? What are we around?
I had one big spike just now as we were walking, and then
How high did it go?
it wasn't to the red.
Okay.
For just a fraction of a second now.
No, it's not.
Yep.
Again, a little bit of validity for you. You're not going to stay in one spot.
But mostly, yeah, it's been staying down here and it does jump up.
That's right. Anything happening under lights? Anything happening under lights? No?
I had one tiny little thing going.
Lee? There you go.
It's sort of holding solid, and then it'll stop.
Okay.
I had one jump up into the orange there. Just, stop.
Now I had one in Greenville. It would just stay, and I could not figure out why. We got Lee stuff. Nothing. I got nothing. Oh, so over to the barn, I guess.
by all means, with your laser,
Yeah, the carriage horses.
Oh, okay.
We're getting all red. Got nothing. I mean,
But mostly green.
it's mostly green.
Ooh, I can smell that.
Yeah, little horses. And that's the smell. I was like, oh, I'm sure we can have a barn next to the house. What smell? Alright, so we got, but that's just where there's no paint. And so that should be blue, no paint. Is it cold?
No, I was just trying to see if it was painted or if it was peeled off. So that's just your bare metal.
Yeah, I can see your definite little arm there. Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
so those look warmer. I don't remember what they look like.
See, this is when I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. See how it's changing?
The temperature
Stable. I hope I have good shoulders for this if I got to do this on there. What the? Oh, that's just a matter of something. You can make it something if you want to. No, I'm not making fun of anybody out here, and I know he did not say anything to protect us. Don't go home with you, okay? Oh, look, that's a mouth. You weren't over there with us long enough to look at the houses where we're staying. I told Melanie, I said, look, they have Amityville Horror in it. She's like, they do.
So the reason why I say there's a ton of different materials in here is because you have metal, asphalt, wood, brick, foliage. You have all of those different things. Did you guys go up to that corner for a specific reason?
we were just kind of passing around.
Okay.
Yes.
I seen you guys were kind of like drawn to it, and I was kind of like, the 4 times I've actually had to turn this tour around and say we need to go now, it's been out of that corner. So just bear with me. It's not always dark up there, but if I get multiple pieces that something's not happy,
Yeah.
we move.
Just tell us.
Oh yeah.
I
try not to, like, people get like really scared when I say that kind of stuff. I try not to even let you guys know that like stuff comes home with me.
Yes, I know. I was going to say you didn't say protection for you.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
I'm not a religious person.
I don't care. You can still do it.
If it's not believed, it's not going to work. I was raised Orthodox there. You're not going to convince me of anything. So
just one, I just want to clarify. So
sure.
If it's just kind of jumping up into the middle, like that, is that something to let you know about? Or
Yeah.
worried about that one?
Any kind of movement at all. So right now, like, I don't see the rhythm. Like, I would watch it. Like, if you see one on the horn, I would look for a pattern. Is there something nearby that can make it go off? Is there? We're walking on a sewer line, so there's nothing underneath us. Like, what is around you that's going to be able to be strong enough to touch that, to make it go to that high orange color? If you can't find anything, we definitely have something going on.
Yeah, that's what we were looking for there. Was I'm like, when mine goes, I was usually like, oh yeah, under a wall. Okay, maybe.
This is going to be.
Sorry.
Nope.
But I need to be.
Weekend's coming. I've stopped tours.
You have? Because people won't behave?
I have that right.
Yes, you do. We'll behave.
It's funny, those are the biggest things come from. It comes in next morning
From them?
from people that can't behave and I cut the tour off.
Oh,
They tip me as an apology. That's what it is. I get the night off and they send more money over. Density.
density?
density.
You are my density?
Yeah,
I'm
something
sorry.
That was my first thought.
I'm sorry.
But again, I'm excited already that we got
Okay.
headache when I was talking about that.
Yeah, that's
that
not
move.
funny. My right side was hurting my head. That's not good.
Well, if your name pops up, I'll let you know.
Probably.
Take on the rest of them, and we'll move on so you guys can actually
Okay. All right. We're just goofing around. Just like Chris go, ooh, smell them now. And asphalt, see, this is all. I didn't even think to look at the asphalt.
Yeah, because you assume it's going to be the same. It's flat and it should all be the same temperature.
Yeah. I was like, I need to read, don't you read it was. What'd you find?
There are a couple of big spots
Here? That's not big. Oh, my block it. Whoa. Is it a gray? Is it a... Do it again. Back up. Not me, is it?
I don't think so. Because it stops when you come over.
Shit. Then it may be me. See?
Right here.
I'm staying away because I knock it off.
You said there were sewers.
It's a sewer line right here in the center.
Okay.
What's inside the barn?
Shoot your laser right through here. There you go. That's far enough right there.
This is the only spot that was really good solid.
The first thing I'm looking for is a pattern. Not seeing it. Just seeing that pattern. Just going from orange and red and then staying in red and doing all kinds of... So we've actually got somebody here. I want you to step away from this box and make it go to green. No,
Not you.
you stay put. Hold it as still as possible. You got somebody here with us. I want you to step away. Go ahead and feel that for a second. Don't draw too much attention to ourselves. Make this box go down to green. That is a great. They're like, no, we're staying. They're not wanting to go anywhere. They're digging you, man. I heard you were the skeptic.
When I come over, it stops, so that's why I backed off.
Let's try it. Trying to get close.
Now it's only hanging down here in the middle now.
Yeah.
That. Hang on. Let's try it again. You guys seeing what's happening here?
No, it's not.
Can you see the lights over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now, Cindy, step away.
Oh, when she comes close,
It goes away.
You don't like me.
So what does that mean? Is it like connected to our phone?
No, it means
You
there's
don't-
something about Cindy it doesn't like.
Don't
Go
like
back
me.
again. Go back again.
It was only in this spot right here because when I walked over. Oh my gosh.
Are you kidding? Oh my god.
So back up again. Back up.
No, they're starting to like me. Look. See?
Do you like boys?
I'm not hateful. See there? There you go.
So hold on. I'm gonna move.
Okay.
Back up. Step.
Yeah, see if when he comes close to you, if it...
So
Well, the temperature was...
it's weaker over here.
It's getting weaker. Okay.
Now you come back up now.
I got the word radar.
You got a cat named Radar. See, now your temperature's... Oh, did it stop? I'm sorry, I was looking at the things.
No, you're okay. But it was really erratic.
Maybe it doesn't want to be seen.
Radar, and it knows
Is
it's,
it
it knows it's
like
being
maybe
picked up
a
on. Yeah.
No.
Like
That's why I'm
someone
wondering
that's
if there was a
interested
line here or something because it's only in this spot.
No, I mean, I don't know. Just...
That's red. Red.
The temperature's up to 83 on you now.
Got it on my body.
I got it on you, big
He
boy.
got it on his shirt because his shirt's gonna be different temperature than his
Right.
flesh.
I've just got it focused on him. So where are you going to put it? See?
So literally go up just underneath the brim of his hat if you can.
Well, if I press my little star thing.
Do you like Cindy?
No. Oh, you can't ask him yes or no?
Yeah, stay away from those yes or no's.
Do you like boys or girls?
What do you got
I
there?
can't see it.
Yeah,
What's your name?
70.
What?
This is where it becomes mask.
What year
There
did
you
you
go,
live
right there.
91, 88.
You should be close to like 95.
Dropping.
Dropping?
Dropping 78, 80. That's back up to 85. Alright. Tomas, just did one.
Sorry, I'm trying to.
I know.
I see a little bit of a rhythm there, but
Yeah, it's just steady.
not now. Not with
Now
those
you're
reds
steady.
coming through. Hearing anything at all out of that? Alright, I say we move on. We got a weird phenomenon with Cindy getting close to it. So let's see if it actually occurs elsewhere. Try to debunk it. Maybe she's got weird electromagnetic fields running through her blood. Maybe gonna go the opposite way. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna find out. Let's go learn some history.
The what?
Let's go learn some history.
Yay, fun.
Definitely weird.
We got to do it too.
It's green now.
Yeah, it's just solid.
So she's right next to you. And we're walking away from that spot.
Yep. Now it should go off under this.
Oh,
Nope.
it's like.
Okay.
We're gonna get you guys out of the entrance because there's only one way in and out of this place. I'm not gonna take you to parking lots all night long, I promise. However, your ghost tours
Oh,
don't go to places that they can't show off. Nobody talks about this place. It's very important to Charleston. Am I that boring? You kind of keep catching your breath. You okay?
I'm fine.
Okay. So, again, just making sure everybody's happy and healthy. This is the site for Charles and Eliza Pinckney's mansion. So their mansion would have been in the front. Eliza's garden would have been lined up kind of where that empty space is next to the white SUV, all the way over here, and then back here where we're standing would have been where the slave homes were. So, here's the story that happened there. Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles, and they also had a nephew named Charles. So there's 3 Charles right there. The son and the nephew, signers of our Constitution. Pretty big deal for Charleston. I'm not a big person on politics, so I'm going to move on to Eliza. Eliza married Charles to stay here in the United States. She was from England, baked beans breakfast, that's where this came from. So, she married Charles to stay here. She became a citizen because Dad thought he was dying over in England and he wanted all of his kids home and she didn't want to go. So she got married, stayed here. Dad got better, as she knew he would, and he started sending her gifts over. I told you Eliza's garden is basically right here behind the house, and one of those gifts that he sent over happened to be the plant indigo. So you guys have all been driving around town and have seen the word indigo, I'm sure, on several different things. It started right here. So what the heck is indigo? It's a plant that makes blue dye that makes your blue jeans blue. We still use it today. Pretty big deal. They had to move it over into Mount Pleasant because it became a cash crop once it started to save Charleston and make us a lot of money. Our rice plantations went downhill and we needed another cash crop. When did that start going crazy? I just seen a couple of red flashes.
It's kind of been doing it as you've been talking.
Eliza usually likes to come through. So, this is an interesting place to really investigate. And our light's blinking, so I'll show that off here in a second. So a couple things about Eliza. Well, she was also the businesswoman that sold indigo overseas, which is what made it so successful. So she's done a whole lot more. There's books written all about this woman's life, because she was amazing. But in colonial times, there's no such thing as a businesswoman. No such thing. So the fact that she sold this crop overseas, huge deal. Not just for Charleston, but for all of the states at that time. So, a couple things about her. She was the second wife named Eliza from Charles. So these are spirit box questions. So you can try to find out what her maiden name was, because that's what she goes by, Eliza blank Pinckney. Not middle name, maiden name. A lot of people mistake those two things. So they had 4 kids. Try to find out what the daughter's name was, because she only had one. Okay, it's a 3-syllable word. It's a lot for her to muster up, so we'll see what actually comes out of that. Let's see here. You can ask what happened to the mansion. That's pretty simple. Oh, you can ask how she died, where she died, how old she was when she died, how old she was when she got married, when her birthday is. Ask her all of those personal questions. I'm only giving you questions that I've already had the answers come through. And again, you might hear something that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And that's okay. Because sometimes I ask questions and I'm waiting to see if the answer is going to go to one of y'all. You guys have other spirit boxes, other ways of communication. It might even come through the audio of the thermal imaging camera. So again, we have so many different ways for her to communicate. Direct her as Eliza. Hey Eliza, can you tell me when you died? Or how you died? Just like that. Direct her directly. If you start hearing things that are like maybe more political, probably not Eliza here tonight. Might be Charles. Eliza is here most nights, and she does come through as an intelligent response. This is not a residual ghost. This isn't something where she does the same things every night. She hangs out here. So a lot of people at this point usually ask me, why don't we actually go through cemeteries? We're walking through one. The city of Charleston has had more tragedies, more fires, more everything, and death all over the place. And everywhere we walk, someone has died. So, couple rules. You know what to do with that guy. Your thing's probably going to go off like crazy throughout the whole place. You're going to find those hot spots and kind of call them out so the spirit boxes can come and run it. Okay. Lasers, keep them away from cars. We're going to keep them below the walls. So kind of keep that in mind. But your spirit box is definitely in open range here if you want to. Your spirit box, obviously, you know what to do with that by now. I am going to separate from you guys and kind of bounce around again, because I'm going to do my own little spirit box session with the 2 spirit boxes I have to see what else I can capture, like baked beans breakfast. In the event we get something super exciting, we will probably all move up as you guys did over at the Red Barn lot. So that was a very interesting, and again, she's standing next to the EMF now, and it's still it's pulsing over here versus over there.
Do you think Eliza would go over there?
Probably, but again, she knows I'm here pretty much every night at 7 and 9 o'clock. You know,
so I see attention.
And a lot of times I will hear my name come through. Happens all the time. I walk into the Provo's dungeon, which is on East Bay Street, about a mile down the road. As soon as I walk in, I hear, "Hello, Nick." Happens all the time. So you have to imagine, I live here, so I do visit the museums. I do have season passes to a lot of places, and I do my history and research. Even though I'm not with the bigger companies, you guys rely on me more because you guys all have my phone number, and you're going to be asking me questions 6 months down the road, I promise you. I'm still getting texts from people from a year ago asking me questions about the apps and the devices that they bought off my suggestions. So it does happen. So I'm going to set you guys free. Again, spirit boxes, stay away from each other. I want to see where you guys go so I can go in another direction. So let's get you guys walking, find out where those hotspots are, and you guys go listen in. And pictures? No. Too many cars.
No pictures.
People get weird about their cars.
Do you want me to separate? I mean, I can see her being attracted to me. Let me try something.
Hold that up like you're going to take a selfie. And you can see that button all over. No offense.
I'm just saying. That's Liza, right? Eliza? I understand, dear, why you might be attracted over here. Let's go. Not a problem.
Pretty calm right here.
It's really. This thing's a little difficult to read.
So what?
Well, for me, it's a little difficult to read because it's like, okay, the truck's hot and it's cold and it's hot and it's cold. And it's like 60.
So, your reticle right there, that's what everything else is based on. So when it's reading 66,
Yeah.
anything warmer than that's going to look hot. So even if it's only 70 something, it's going to look hot.
Okay,
So when you go down to the warmer parts, now everything else changes around it. So that's what I was trying to say. When I had that light over there that looked like it was flashing.
Yeah.
You can't hold that perfectly steady. So it's constantly changing that temperature, and it's going to look like that light is flashing.
Well, then how am I supposed to find anything?
Well, I think basically what you're looking for is anomalies. Like, if you look down at the ground and you see a cold spot that just sort of jumps out of nowhere,
Yeah.
I think that's what he was wanting you to look for.
Okay. All right, and you need to be just screaming.
Me?
Yeah, it's over here, it's over here. Staying the same. Is it going like going to?
It'll do that and then it'll stop.
Oh, but
It's not like it'll do it.
huh? In a week? Yeah.
Now it's all green.
Oh, okay.
Over in that corner.
That's fine, nothing weird for me.
It's okay.
But then again, he said I may not see it.
So you got different types of ground here too.
Yeah.
So some of it's wet because it's mud,
And that's what's coming up blue.
right? And then obviously you can tell which person's been here the longest.
Yes.
So if you're a car thief, that would be your best friend. It's a great tool for that. But again, we caught some weird things here. I've had some shadow figures. When we were
Yeah.
taking pictures on this lot.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm not seeing anything, so I'm not sure I'm doing it right, but I must be because I'm not seeing anything yet.
Alright, let's move out of her way so she's.
The lights over here have been sort of erratic. Like it'll be like this, but it'll just stop. You know, it's not like it was over there where it was that one spot where it was solid.
Again, it's a parking lot over here. They're not even going to do an archaeological dig when they put they're supposed to put a commercial hotel here. And there's going to be no dig. So we're going to lose all those artifacts, you know, whatever's underneath the ground. I mean, we can learn a lot about the slave trade back then. We can learn about the Pygmies. I mean, these were important people. I mean, Charles was a big political person. I want to say he was even governor for a very short period of time. So, I mean, this is a pretty prominent house.
I was reading about Charles Coatsworth before I came back down here, but now I can't remember if he was the son or the nephew.
Coatsworth was the nephew.
And he was, I think he was the governor, wasn't he? Or was he?
I know he was a governor, but the father, or the uncle, he was also he was in the Republican Party. He joined the Jeffersonian Republican Party when he first went into politics. So I hear the word Republican from time to time too. So they actually asked Eliza where she was, and it said home. So I mean, that's just following them for some reason. That's why I sent 2 girls up here, because that's a hot spot. That's where I usually get most of my activity.
Yeah.
If she's giving them answers, I want you 2 to go up here and try to find out.
Sit there and blind us.
Alright. Let's see what they're gathering now.
Okay. You're fine. You can walk in front of if you want to. No biggie.
I heard jealous, but I'm not sure if I can bring. I don't know how much this you make up and how much you really do. No, like me, like I just don't know. I've never done this.
Oh,
So
shit.
yeah.
I think I just saw something. It's too late. It's gone.
Was it not? Was it a car? Or?
I don't know if it was a car or I saw something. I don't know. Maybe in a car.
Oh.
That's why I said you guys saw hot spots, but you guys are
Yeah, no.
Did he say Eliza was following them around or him? What? What the? Wait a minute. Come here.
I'm looking at it.
Does that look like somebody or something?
I'm not real sure where you're pointing.
Right. I don't think I'm going to mess it up if I point it.
I don't know if it's if it'll do anything or not.
Here. Here and there.
It just looks like blobs to me. But that's just me.
Well, let's move our...
Like,
It's just the last sentence. I get the church. I understand where the church is. I understand that.
That the house caught fire and it was like right here. Yeah. I don't either.
Are you getting anything?
Nope.
No.
Did y'all get something?
No.
Hold on.
Jealous. I heard jealous.
Oh.
Eliza, there's another man in your house. What do you think about it? Don't make this personal. Fucking shit.
What?
Is that what she said?
Did she really?
That's what she said?
Did it really or?
I don't know. She might be my
Eliza, what do you think about another man being in your house? She said don't make this personal.
No.
Alright, so let's all kind of gather up and see if we all capture here.
I don't want that.
Well, here, you want this? Because I like to play with it.
You what?
I'll switch with you here.
He won't let us switch.
I can
so-
wipe them down if you guys want to switch.
You want to switch? You want to switch?
Completely up to you.
This is not scary.
Oh, it's. I mean, I like it. That's what I signed up for this for. But
Okay.
I can switch if you want to. We can share
Okay.
the wealth.
All
You want me
right.
to wipe everything down?
Sure, I don't care.
I mean, we both. I don't.
I got nothing.
Yeah, let's just. I don't care if you don't care.
Do you get anything?
How do you work this on?
Alright, so the only thing you need to know is the little turnstile up here at the top controls the volume.
Yeah.
So even when it's all the way on mute, it's still recording. That's all you need to know. Just ask those questions like I was explaining to them earlier. With it so on. Alright, so let's kind of recap on what
So
we
what is this? This is like 3 degrees hotter.
Yeah, so 3 degrees doesn't get me excited. 10 degrees.
Oh, well, it makes me excited.
Alright, so they asked where Eliza was, gave them the word home. You guys obviously told us what you heard.
Yeah.
I didn't capture anything at all. Did you guys see any differences in temperature?
And then we heard something back there too, where I said, what did you think about your husband having the same wife with the same name? And I heard jealous.
Okay. that too. So
Yeah.
hopefully I can find that in the morning. I didn't really get anything out of it.
Chloe, come here.
She died at the age of 70 of breast cancer.
Chloe. Chloe. Look.
Again, just goes to show you,
Look,
cemeteries aren't
60,
ghost hunting.
63. Look right there.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Who wants to hang out with a berry? I'm not going to be hanging out with her. I'm going to be hunting my ex-wife and scare the shit out of her.
Chloe.
So, yes, that's on audio now. I don't care if she's listening. She knows.
That spot right there.
What else did I ask you?
Ah.
Her name was Harriet. And the house caught on fire just above this area right here on the second floor. So that's my hotspot. I get a lot of info right away from there. And again, sometimes it's not always Elijah that's here. A lot of times we'll start getting political terms. One night I actually had for October come up twice while I was here. What made sense was Charles, my husband, was born in October and died in October. So it made complete sense why I had it twice. He was kind of giving me that nod, like, hey, I want some recognition too. We're talking to my wife. So we're gonna walk up East Bay Street about 4 blocks north to Lodge out. So absolutely
Chloe.
no lasers. That's gonna go off because of the parking meters. So don't get excited. Not that you have yet.
It's like a cold spot.
But don't, keep it toned down. So absolutely no lasers. Spirit boxes, I would puff it just because there's going to be restaurants and bringing walking past it, a lot of eating outside. By all means, listen to it at just an audible level because you can control your volume. They can't. As far as the thermal imaging camera, definitely keep recording. We want to keep going there. We're going to walk by the market. I haven't caught anything there yet, but if you want to capture 2 pictures for us, just so everybody knows what the market is, and we'll see if any orbs show up in there. I'm actually expecting something to come out of it because it is very historic. And no, it is not where they sold slaves. It is a very huge misnomer in church. So it was just a mart that was
Chloe.
fruits and vegetables.
Chloe.
The slaves were actually sold at the slave mart. That's on Chalmers Street. Very small building. It is a museum. It was very interesting. Very interesting. And no, it's not haunted. I had my gadgets with me and pocket. Nothing moved. Not one word out of anything. It was almost a place of remembrance more than anything else.
So have you been to the jail? Have you investigated
I
it?
have. The outside was enough.
So you didn't go inside?
No, I did not take crazy price tag.
Chloe.
Have you actually had like
The reason why I didn't take the tour is because that's one location. I know the company that's running that tour, and they look great. That's all I'm gonna say.
Somebody online said that they like push buttons on their cell phones to make sounds.
I have no idea.
I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't see or experience anything, but it definitely, like, it was hard to breathe the whole time.
My wife, who normally is not usually affected by any paranormal activity, and she's disabled. She was one pretty much I detected that she dropped. Again, just too much. All of my activity that came up were names. Names, and more names. So if I had the jail records, which I'm sure I can go down to the Historical Society and get them, I can probably match them up. But we're talking about thousands and thousands of people. And they were names that could be first or last names. So like Johnson, gotta think of the time period, 1800s, that could be a first name. Michael, first or last name. It doesn't matter. It was a lot of that. So it's kind of like it wasn't really worth spending 2 to 3 days in the Historical Society trying to find all these names and matching them up. But again, watching my wife drop, and then my daughter was with me. She had a friend with her, and she started getting a really bad headache too. So it's kind of like I was okay every time the EMF went off. My wife was like, "Move me, you gotta move me."
So you kind of give some recognition to the building itself, not necessarily the company doing the tour, but it's the building itself might actually be.
Yeah,
We walked in and it was definitely like the air was a bit thicker in the building. Yeah.
I'm sure it was. I mean, it's thick on the outside.
Yeah.
And most of my investigation, guys, I do during the daytime. Ghosts don't give a shit about night and day. This nighttime thing is all for you.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I'm not doing ghost hunting tours in the middle of the daytime because you can't see lasers. That's the whole point. But again, most of my investigations that I do during the daytime, doesn't matter. So at the top of your evidence page is going to be a list of all the apps that I use. There are free versions of all of them, so you guys feel free to use them. I get asked all the time. And there's a link to all of the gadgets. There's a gadgets page, all the devices, and where I get them from. So a lot of people are interested in that particular spirit box because it is so unique. It is.
You can hold it.
It's so small. Again, I turn it on, put it in my pocket, and I can enjoy whatever museum I'm at. That's how I actually did the Flight 93 memorial. I put the EMF in one pocket, the S box was in my other pocket, and I had the camera just poking out of the top of my cargo pocket because you're not allowed to film in there. Nobody knew I was filming. So I had all of this data, I had audio going, so I got to enjoy the museum, you know, and actually pay my respects to those that we lost. And pretty cool. So anyway, we are going to walk up East Bay Street. What else do we have? Pictures, like I said, are okay. Lasers, no. Keep filming. You heard about me about the red square on that? Did you see the red square?
I think I see it right now.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. So the red square off to the side means that it's recording.
Yeah.
If it turns to a circle, tap it again.
Okay.
I'll have to splice two videos together. I don't want to work extra.
Okay.
So keep it a square.
It's a square.
Running at the top, so you
Yeah.
can see them.
All right, we ready to roll? Let's do. Let's listen to your spirit box along the way, and listen for names. So you'll know why once we get there. Yours gets a little bit loud. So if you want to listen, just keep the cups really tight. But we're listening for names on this.
That's so weird. You were supposed to take pictures of Market Street, friend.
I was.
Yeah. He told you to snap a few pictures. The custom house. Did anyone get denied here? Did you get sent back to your country? What country are you from? What?
That's what
What happened in this building? Bring it on. Chloe, it's so much more open tonight than it was last night. I wonder if because we're closer to the weekend. You what? Yeah, because we didn't have a wait for anything. Mood. I love Jack Johnson.
I took a picture in an alley back there too. Just to that sounds like an alley. You see, I was looking like
We went there last night.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How was it?
It's pricey.
Pricey?
Yeah. Like $12 a drink, so yeah. We had one.
One, yeah.
Oh, they were talking about the gin joint.
oh, isn't that place good?
It's good, but it's pricey.
She said she went there yesterday.
Yeah,
It was
it
pricey.
was good, but they closed at like 10, and I think we got there at like 9:30 or something. It is kind of pricey, but their drinks are really good.
Oh, she said something about what, $13 a drink?
Yeah, 12. Mine
Yeah.
was 12, hers was 13. So, yeah. Yeah, we're both from Georgia, so
Oh, really?
yeah.
We were there the past 2 days. They have some pretty amazing drinks.
Are they
Uh
doing
huh.
Oktoberfest?
Oktoberfest was probably cool.
Some of the restaurants are doing stuff.
But there's no fest hall. It's,
Yeah.
it's basically like bar specials.
That's what it normally is, just drinking beer.
Because it's so much fun.
Yeah, no, we were super stoked. That's why we went. And then they're like, yeah, we're not doing it. And we're like, oh.
Where are you guys from?
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll be there next week.
Anything?
Susie walked out of some video. And I heard some like trolls, clothes. And then I heard, we love you. And we figured,
So this is one of the oldest streets of Charleston. It would make complete sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to tie anything to it because I don't think there's any record of mold down here, but nor can I probably find it. But this is Lodge Alley, again, one of our oldest streets, and it means people used to live here. So these two buildings that are in between us, they weren't here. They were small little shotgun houses, meaning they had 3 rooms. You could shoot a bullet in one door and go out the back door. So that's how small they were. These people were not high class. They were considered lower class, and I know that because they did an archaeological dig in between these bricks. They found some of their silverware, some of their tools, pieces of their clothing. I have the full list of names of everybody that's ever lived here. That's why I told you guys to listen for names. I get one in particular that likes to show up. His name is Benjamin. So he sometimes comes up as just Ben. I do get Benjamin quite often down here. He actually showed up last night on my walking back from my car, and I was passing the alley. And I just wanted to show you how I leave this thing running walking you guys back to the car. So, but at any rate, so they used to have like the Mason Disney down here. Those were actually residents. So interesting part of town. Many tourists come down here. Again, I'm going to give you guys kind of a little bit of the structure to see. I've got tons of blue orbs down here. No reason for blue orbs. Lights are perfectly yellow. There's no reflection coming off of anything. They're dark blue orbs. When I say dark, I mean like you can't see through them. bed. By all means, keep filming. You're going to grab us a few pictures. In the event we actually get an EMF down here, it's exciting because it never happens. Yeah. So you're going to get something from Magnolia's at the end when we first came in, but normally I don't get anything along the way here. I think it's happened maybe once or twice. I had a little blip show up. So that was exciting. Like, not the orange and red that we've seen so far tonight, but those little blips, because this alley doesn't hold much because there's so much blockage. But I will get that name Benjamin, and it's usually the same night that I'll get a blip on the EMF as well. So again, really cool place, kind of a weird, eerie kind of place to see. And the building that you guys are leaned on, I want to say it was like after 1890s, because that's when all the residences were torn down and they started building businesses. So, and this is Lodge Alley Inn. Every hotel in Charleston has a ghost story. None of them tie to history. I don't talk about them. If you guys find shit, let me know. They won't give me a free room, so I'm not going to validate any of them. I've tried them all. Like, oh, you got a ghost? Yeah, let me tell you the story. They tell me the story. I'm like, so can I get a free night so I can investigate? Oh, sorry, we don't do that. I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm going to debunk you right here. So, the word person, it should be interesting. So, let's definitely get some pictures on the way back. And even if you're the last one behind, get some more. Just start taking different pictures.
So you take pictures behind.
Yep, but I'm not asking.
Okay.
I feel like I heard something.
I don't know. I don't know.
I've never seen that happen. Okay, on that side. But that was it. It's probably going to be the back kitchen to Magnolia's. So, hold on. Chloe, did you get us a picture?
I got a whole bunch. Hold on. Yeah.
Because this summer sucks. Oh, is that the Unitarian?
Say that again?
I think I remember that.
Oh yeah, that's a very popular spot. So, I actually stopped here because we're about to walk through Philadelphia Alley. Philadelphia Alley is a very popular tour stop. However, that is their big finale. So they tell like this big, elongated, 10 to 15 minute story. I'm going to give you the story in about 4 minutes because all we need to know is what we're listening for and what we're
Anna?
watching for.
Is that Anna?
What's that?
Or is that a different one?
Yeah, you keep coming up with all these Anna and Cat stories. I have no idea what city you think you're in.
No, Anna was that lady that like got left from her husband.
Lutheran church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know that story either.
Oh,
Is that here?
yeah. And then what's his name wrote a poem about her?
You talking about Annabelle Lee?
Yeah,
That's Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah,
There we go.
That's actually over at the Unitarian Church.
Yeah.
That is probably about a mile if we want to keep going up that way. And then Edgar, just so you all know, was stationed at Fort Moultrie. And the story of Annabelle Lee, and the poem, is that he wrote that poem about her. And her grave is hidden because the father didn't want Edgar to find her.
Yeah.
So I walked through that cemetery. It's absolutely gorgeous. And my wife and I could not find the headstone. So there is a headstone for her, just doesn't show what her name was. So, but yeah, Annabelle Lee. You said Anna, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know the story behind it. Alright, so this popular area is the story of the Whistling Doctor. So there was a doctor that moved down here from Rhode Island. His name was Joseph Brown Ladd. Now, when he came down here, he had to, because he was supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Again, I'm giving you facts of the story so we know what we're listening for. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her deceased parents. The attorney handling all that money said, you're not getting married, I think he's just after your money. So she sent him away. He comes to Charleston to start his practice. The coachman that brings him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. Not a very good start to Charleston. So, somebody walking by, Ralph Isaacs, he was another attorney, lives here in Charleston, and he's from here, says, you don't want to stay here, let me take you somewhere safe. So he takes him to 59 Church Street. It's about 1.5 miles from here. I also get EMF from that too, by the way. I've been there when I was researching the story, just to see how far away it was. And the two become friends. So he rents the room, and you know, this regular Charlestonian guy, he's pretty cool. So they hang out. They used to go see plays together. However, the doctor's practice was going up in rank, so he was considered higher society. Ralph, being a regular attorney, attorneys weren't what we know of them now, and they had to sit in different seats. So apparently it's lottery time on my slots, everybody. So, at the number 12, I'll have to look at that. Numbers and names are usually very distinct, so I'll have to look up to see if there's any number 12 that's relatable to this story. But anyway, where was I? The two became friends. They went to go see plays together, and one night they go see Richard III, and they couldn't sit near each other because they're in different parts of society. So they're talking about the play on the way home. The doctor loved the new actress in town. Ralph did not. Are you getting something on your camera?
Oh, I don't know what that is. It's just sort of, it's not a heat thing, but it's like a weird shape.
Story interrupted. Which shape are you looking at?
Like right there.
Well, if you get a 10-degree drop from everything around it, let me know. So, doctor loved the actress, Ralph did not. It turns into an insult party and the doctor's fiance back home. So the two get mad at each other and they go their separate ways. I told you Ralph was from here, so he has ties to the newspaper. He writes an ad in the paper about what a disgrace the doctor is to the city of Charleston. He's too expensive, he's not from here, yada, yada, yada. The doctor rebuttals with, we're going to come down to Dueler's Alley, which is what this was named before, Philadelphia Alley, and we're going to finish this. So they come down here, and what happens at a duel? Somebody usually is dead,
Dies.
right?
Yeah.
So right across from us, you can see an opening in the far wall. That's a doorway where the loser of the duel would normally go through. They would pick up the dead body, go through the courtyard, and then over to St. Philip Cemetery, drop the body in the already dug grave, throw some dirt on him, and then go celebrate the winner with a pint. So here's what happened with the doctor and Ralph's duel. They come down, take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to prove a point. However, Ralph took 2 shots below the knees. The doctor drops to the ground. His friends pick him up. They carry him home to 59 Church Street, and he dies 10 days later. Now, I told you this was the story of the Whistling Doctor. The doctor whistled a lot because he was making a lot of money, and Amanda was coming down soon. So they say as you walk through this alley, and it's this quiet even during the daytime, you can hear the doctor's whistles. Now, here's the kicker. A lot of people in Charleston know this story. They're going to give you so now you have an example on your audio of what the whistling, the fake ones are going to sound like. I've caught it twice in the year of doing this. It's very faint. This is where you're going to turn your audio up and you're going to be listening. I'm going to stay away from the spirit boxes. So if you're going to listen, by all means, I'm going to stay away from me. It's not because you smell bad, because you're noisy. There is a house at the end of this alley, so the spirit boxes better be really low or off by the time we reach those 2 houses. Another historical fact about this alley is the bricks are going to get older as we keep walking. These up here, where we're going to start, were replaced and repaired in the 1990s. Towards the end, we have sun-dried bricks from slave kids, which means they turn those bricks every hour to dry them off, to make sure that they turned into a brick. We still have their fingerprints, and we have 1 full handprint.
Look, it goes down to 59.
It's not a proud moment that we have for Charleston, but it is something that we should all be aware of. So I will show off that handprint, but I will keep moving because it is outside somebody's home. So if we want to take a picture of it, have those cameras ready to take the picture. We're not going to get an EMF near it. I've only had it one time. That kid does not want to hang around where he was a slave. So the fact that we got anything that one night, I was super shocked. We actually had a quick little EVP session, and we actually got some words. I don't remember what they were off the top of my head. They weren't as prominent as they came with breakfast. So we're gonna walk.
Yeah, there's a huge jump right there. It goes from 59 to 70.
Wow, that's a big jump. Hang on, don't move it. I walk in front of it on purpose. You see that blue spot? Yeah. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like it's 60.
That's the gap in the trees.
59, and then if I go like right down there, it goes straight up to 70.
Yeah, that's the gap in the trees. So what that means is that it's too far away for it to truly get a gauge on it.
Boo, that made me excited.
That's okay. It's a good catch. We'll take it. It's debunked, but
yeah.
We'll take that you're paying attention, which is good. So, you guys ready to walk through this crazy alley? It is the most beautiful place in all of Charleston. I love this. Is my favorite spot. So if we want to take pictures, go ahead and grab them ahead of time. We're going to let Chloe go first because it is a gorgeous spot. And I have caught some orbs in here before too. So let's see what we get going on down here. Oh, that like crazy gate sound is on your audio.
We'll close it and open it back up.
Close it and then open it again. Isn't that a great sound for your audio?
Yeah, sets the mood.
Nobody's down here, Chloe, so I would take many pictures. There is a zoom on there.
Oh.
If you wanted to, it's right up here.
Okay.
So, just so you get a
Oh, neat.
Yeah. I don't normally show that off because I want the fuller pictures. But in this alley, the closer we can get this stuff, the more orbs we'll catch.
Prettiest spot in Charleston.
So the cemetery for St. Philip's is on the front of this building. So why I don't always go up there and take the groups up that way is because all of that up there is like legends and lore. I don't get a whole lot of proof and data out of those extra. It's just kind of like bonus areas in case I have like a group of 2 and we're walking pretty quick. So again, those are like the extra just stories. With this stuff that we have here, we can actually capture actual evidence. So that's why I stick to regional. So if you stand against that door, take a picture that way. That's a great with the people in the background, you'll actually get the plaque too. Sorry, we're being touristy at this point. You guys aren't, none of you are from here, so you'll have something to remember your tour by.
No.
See some fingerprints starting right here, and then more, and then the full handprints right at the end.
Chloe.
least I charge
That's okay. They'll wait for it. Do you think that this is because of the light? It goes up to like 80, 81, 82.
I don't know.
And right here is 73. They'll wait for us. Chloe, you're supposed to get a picture of the alley.
Into a wedding reception area in the front, and the top roof will be considered waterfront. So, Chris, about 50K for the top roof. Can you handle it?
I don't think I would have my reception now, but
Just saying, 50K, and that's probably without the restaurant to cater.
yeah.
So the story goes, George Poirier was the last person who owned it as a cotton warehouse. George inherited the business from his dad, who was a very successful businessman. However, George was a troubled spoon kid and had no clue about music. So he got in trouble for a bunch of debt. Moved through his inheritance pretty quickly, and he needed to just get out of the cotton industry. He also had the boll weevil in town, so it bugs eating his crops. He was up shit creek, to put it nicely. So instead of selling it to the Americans and keeping the boll weevil here in our country, he sells his cotton pretty cheap over to the British. So again, Peninsula was much skinnier. That's Pineapple Park across the street from this building. It wouldn't have been there. So he watches the ship roll up on the second story floor and unload it from back here of these garages, horse and buggy, and it all goes out to the ship. And somebody gets too close to that cotton once it's fully loaded with a pipe. The whole damn thing catches fire, and he watches the whole thing go up in flames and everybody dies. He's already depressed because his dad's gone. He doesn't have enough money to pay off his American debts. And now his father's legacy is gone. So what does he do? He piles up all the furniture, captain's chair on the top. If I don't say that chair part, it tells me chair, like as a reminder. So I made sure I put that stupid captain's chair in there. He climbs it, swings the noose, and hangs himself. The newspaper kid the next morning, who came down to the corner to sell his tapes, is the one that's on the bottom. They say you could see the shadow of a swinging corpse through a full moon. So, thermal imaging cam, do you have that now?
I do.
So we're going to get a nice slow sweep on the second story window when we get to the front of that building.
Okay.
Your spirit boxes, or uncle. The uncle had anything to do with it. It's interesting. Actually, there are a bunch of them. So what we're looking for, thermal imaging cannot see through glass. So we're not going to actually see a shadow swinging corpse. I'm looking for windows that are going to grow colder as she moves across. You're going to see blue windows. Hopefully one is darker than the rest. I've caught it one time where it was a little darker, and we could not debunk why it was darker. And it could go all the way to black. We never know. At times, Zoe from Coogan's Porch likes to tag along down here. Coogan's
That's my
Porch
daughter's
is
name.
Zoe?
Yeah.
How do you spell Zoe?
Zoe.
Okay, so that's exactly how Zoe from Coogan's Porch spells it as well. That's why I know it's her. She comes through often. She used to live in the place that is now Coogan's Porch. It's a restaurant. If you guys haven't eaten there yet, it's actually pretty good.
With the dog, right?
With the dog.
Yeah.
So the dog is Coogan. The dog, as they were reconstructing the house into a restaurant, the construction crew fed this stray dog, and he kept coming back. And everybody loved this dog, and they all knew him because he was the neighborhood dog. We're talking late 1800s. So they named him Coogan. And when he died, they built a memorial on the land after they were done with the construction of the restaurant. Well, the new owners decided just to keep it with that name. So it's Coogan's Porch. There's a lot of Coogans around town now. Coogan's Courtyard, Coogan's Pub, like there's all kinds of Coogans.
It started from that one.
Coogan's Porch. It's actually a pretty nice place to eat. But anyway, Zoe
We almost tried
shows
to.
up sometimes in the mirror in the ladies' restroom, or the dog will actually pull on the handle. Zoe will come through and she'll give you words like, she won't tell you restaurant. Again, it's a lot to muster up. That's 3 syllables. She'll tell you spoon, fork, table, food, eat, those kind of things. Things that wrap around a restaurant. Very simple 1-syllable words. Maybe 2, table. But at the same time, I never know who I'm getting here. This is a hit or miss type location. Either it's going to be super active, it's going to be super dead. No pun intended. The EMF is going to go off when we get to the front because of the parking meters. If you get something along the way, it might be from one of the condos. Just depends on where that's going. Obviously, listen to your spirit box. Obviously, keep filming. We're going to also want pictures from you, Chloe.
Okay.
No links around the building. People live there. What else do you guys? You guys have that rescue box. So this is also another tough area just because people live there. So I'm gonna walk in front of you guys, kind of swift, just to get over to the side of the building. Because I'm gonna cross legally twice. This is a one-way street. And then we're gonna see if we capture along the way. And then when we get to the front, we'll let the video and the camera do what they need to do. And if they capture something, we'll keep going with a question and answer session. Otherwise, we'll call it a night. And we'll see what we captured in the morning. Is that fair?
Yep.
All right.
Come on, Zoe. I like the name Zoe. Did something.
Yeah, just right here.
That was weird at that first spot when your mom was walking up and it would like go away.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I believe in this stuff though.
What'd you get? I catch something on the audio, I always say the word and I say rewind by 5 seconds so that way you guys can go back and verify what I heard. I don't always give you those markers so that way you guys can listen to the actual audio. The markers on what I find on the spirit box because everybody's going to hear extra things, especially on the mute. So I don't know what y'all hear. It doesn't tell me. So I'll give you those markers. Obviously the pictures, I upload those to Facebook so it doesn't take up as much space on the website. So you have a link directly to that folder and it will have your names on it. People that book. Videos, if I have anything out of that, I'll have markers as well. And I think they're about to cover this all over.
That window's a lot colder.
Is it black?
It's blue.
Okay, so move around to the front. Like,
Walk around that way.
Yeah, go this way. I wanted to bump it. So. Go up. Yeah.
Oh, we're at the mill house.
Okay. Do you guys know where you're going from here, Leanne?
Yeah, just that way.
I'm parked right where we started, so I'm going to go straight. It's about a 5-minute walk. So anybody that needs to follow me, you can.
But it would be smarter for us to just go back that way.
Right.
Thank you very much.
No problem, guys. I'll text y'all in the morning.
Thank you.
With all the data. Then I'll get you guys my card. So I'll hand that to you and
Thank
take
you.
this guy. Make sure we're still recording. Nice. Good job, guys. Do I have to display?